Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So, this year sucked. For a lot of reasons. I'm sure everyone has their good and bad, but overall, I feel like the world at large can agree this year sucked. And we can't forget about it, because then it'll happen again. But wow, I think we should look at it and be like, ew, so it never happens again. I'm also sick right now, so I'm sure my doomerism is coming from that. But I do live in America, and so being sick means what? Nothing. So let's keep going. One good thing about this year was my reintegration into the FNAF fandom, or Five Nights at Freddy's fandom. I remember when the games first came out, my brother was really into watching the Markiplier playthroughs. I couldn't do it because he's just too loud for me. Men screaming has nothing appealing to me. Sometimes I feel that way about T-Dreads, to be honest, but he also has his moments, and that's a joke. He'll be in an iteration of this series where I'll be making art for YouTubers YouTubers. We're gonna keep it to YouTubers. I was gonna just do FNAF tubers and like theorists, but no, I'll open it up to the whole platform. Why not? I didn't really get into game theory because MatPat's voice, the voice he put on, I don't know, maybe it's the autism, but I was like, why are you putting on this voice? Imposter. And it's kind of like, he was really the blueprint for the people who talk like this. And in this one, he actually did this. MatPat was the blueprint for that type of speaker, and I will never forgive him, but he is also iconic for it, so no hate there. My brother actually really didn't like game theory. He said he was a sellout, and I never understood that because I've been watching YouTube since I was a kid, and I was like, yeah, he does ads. But when I was in college, my friend Grace, shout out Grace, love you, she showed me Super Horror Mike, his playthroughs of Security Breach and the breakdowns of them. I was like, oh, there is a lot going on in this story. I need to know more. And through that, I found Rytoast. Autism approved, very much so, thank you. And then Rytoast really opened up the gates for FNAF theorists. And then I found Gibby, I found T-Dreads, and the person of honor, I guess, this video is the theorist and game developer, kind of concept writer, definitely a writer, but it's Unwithered Truth, yay! No, but I was a freshly renewed FNAF-brained baby when Unwithered Truth released the first reboot, so of the reboot of FNAF 1, and it blew my mind. I'm sure it obviously blew other people's minds. Over 1 million views, I think, on both of those videos. Okay, Unwithered Truth, if you're watching this, I know you probably don't want to watch a video of someone just like throwing a bunch of praise at you. I wouldn't want to listen to someone just being like, oh my god, you're so good, wow. Well, no, maybe I would. I digress. But truly, I was indeed taken aback by, let's break it down, the voice acting. Everyone slayed. And yes, I am biased because I watch all of their content. I think the only person I wasn't familiar with was Solid Silver, the voice of Afton, I believe, in the reboots, who literally no crumbs left. Truly devoured that role. The characterization they portray for William, the evil that there is in Afton, the like sliminess, and you can tell there's a fakeness to it, or to his kind of yellow persona. Wild stuff, but amazing. Now, let's go through the 3D animations. I think Unwithered has said that he uses maybe already rigged models, but I wouldn't doubt it if since then he maybe has got custom ones or has designed them himself. He's been doing this 3D thing forever. I just watched his sister location theory again yesterday, and even just the animations in that, it's all so good, and you can tell that he cares. It's the best. In the I guess what would be the cinematic pieces of the game, the director's eye that Unwithered has is undeniable. It's so it's so apparent. Everything is shot with like such intention in creating this world and making it feel real and feel scary. I love it so much. The environments are, so detailed. Afton's office, or personal office, I'll talk about the week prior in a bit, in a second. But the description of Afton's office in the week prior and the visual depiction in Heyday is, it took the picture out of my mind and threw it into the video. I was dumbfounded. And all the little Easter eggs that they're putting in. This is for the fans. Y'all talking about the second movie was for the fans. No, this is for the fans. This is what taking something that people love and treating it with care and like taking your time. This took, I think, 9 months, if not more, to make. They made that whole movie in a fucking year, and it turned out, no, I can't be mad, but like Scott did good. And like if anyone comes in the comments to defend Scott, that man is a millionaire. Worry about yourself. And no, I don't play the games. I probably will never play the games, because like I've said in other videos, I'm a scared little baby. I can't handle scary things. Any, I don't know, story with tension, and if I have to interact with it, it's a no-go for me. But I can't wait to watch someone play the actual game. I don't know, this community just kind of builds on itself. Like, the games, those don't belong to Scott anymore. I mean, well, obviously they do in rights, but like once he puts them out there, they're ours. And then people like Unwithered making a game for the fans, and then people will make, I mean, I guess you can't really make theories necessarily for the games because it is a little more written out. I wonder how Unwithered is going to deal with that in the future, but that's not really his problem. Like, he can explain it all in a video because that's what he does. He makes videos, and if he wants to like lessen the amount of description in the videos, or maybe, I don't know, this is for him to think about, I guess. Oh, but I can't wait to watch people play this game and talking about the game, changing the function of the toys. It was very big brained. I mean, he was right. There are so many. I drew them. I drew them all, I think, except for like some Easter egg characters. But there are so many animatronics in this game that like when he said, we're switching it up and they're working for you, I was like, yes, that is like the next level of this kind of gameplay that we see in FNAF 1. It's you v the 4 main band. Add more characters. The character needs help, because if it's just one person against all of these people, that's insane. Like, I know Mike, well, we'll get into that. It made sense. 10 out of 10. In my opinion. Also, this is all just my opinion. I don't do anything. I draw, and I just got into that. Well, I didn't just get into it, but I'm just now working on getting better. This is literally just an appreciation post for Unwithered Truth's work. Now let's get into the writing. Showing Afton's intention in part 1 makes this so much scarier because we have the context. You know, in Anniversary, seeing Afton in the Spring Bonnie suit, luring the kids, he's still obscured. We don't know who that man is. He's obviously working there. This man is killing these kids. Showing, not telling. Love that, first of all, from a storytelling perspective. And then bringing us into the maintenance section of Heyday, direct aftermath of the stuffing. And that, like, the way when I was watching Heyday for the first time, I was like, oh. And you don't know you're Afton the whole time. And so it's like, now you put me in his shoes? Oh, God. Playing this whole ass game and I'm the villain? Obsessed. I love that kind of forcing the player to literally see through the eyes of the killer. Love. Speaking of how characters were introduced, the puppet at the end of Anniversary, setting her up, immediately distinguishing, they don't recognize you, but I do now. That was my Marvel post-credits scene. But having her at the end of that game, closing out immediately into the story of Charlie. Yeah! Yes. I love it so much. Piques interest, and then it sets you on the path to discovering everything you need to know through this game. And it makes you would make you work for it through getting the true ending, which, I mean, love that. I also think it's really interesting. It kind of works with the switch up too of having Charlie be, or like learning about Charlie after we've learned about the MCI. I really appreciate how it shows an escalation, but in a way that is so, I guess, it makes you think for a second to be like, okay, he killed 5 kids and now he killed 1 kid. And then you're like, oh, he killed Charlie first. And then realized the puppet was possessed and was like, I have an idea. And then he kills 5 kids. But I love that reversal because it's kind of what we get in the OG FNAF, but it's so unclear at the same time. Because we're like, okay, this is a prequel, but the Withered are the originals? And then, So it was confusing, but this just kind of, just having a timeline. This is obvious. This is the, what if it was thought of, like all the lore was thought of, like first. What if there was a set timeline and Scott was just telling the story that he had already had figured out? And that, it really is showing that, like, yeah, having it planned out would have been really helpful so that Scott wasn't confusing us and then we weren't interpreting things wrong, because how could you interpret something wrong if everything was there to be set up? You know, we all know. This is the literal curse of FNAF, is that not everything was thought up. Like, Scott was telling a story, improving it, basically. And he got lost in the lore. Yeah, he got lost in the lore, and so did we. And so now, it's obviously helped a bunch of people, but it has brought us to where we are today. And that is a state of confusion. Truly. Last thing about the writing. Uncle Bill, someone get Candy Bunny and Oscar immediately, or I will. That was rough. But I can't. And you know, when Charlie went to beat that bitch up, I was like, yeah, get his ass. The ending is just, it's so frustrating, but it's so good, because obviously we have to, if William just gets got now, can't have that happen. I am very interested to see how Unwithered goes into the future with this. Oh, you know what? I wonder if that'll just be in the week prior. I need to see that man get spring locked. And I need it now. But speaking of the week prior, not only is he writing games, he's writing interactive novels. How dare you? Is this what they're doing over in the UK? Because if it is, I need to move. I gotta get my shit together. The vastly different choices for William, I really like. I'll say one more thing about the week prior, and then I'll talk about this design. Okay? Promise. The different choices for Afton to make, they're cheeky, but they also, like, the kind of varying contrast to his character really help. I don't know, it like makes him more specific in, like, because the choices you make lead you on either the correct path for the true ending, I would assume, but the other outcomes are direct confirmation, or a clear confirmation of, like, yes, he would do this, no, he wouldn't do this. And so it really makes his character feel more concrete and not so much of a nebulous showman, maybe, that we kind of know, but we don't really understand everything about him. And so, like, his character hasn't really changed between the original FNAF and a Glitch Trap, because we still don't know anything about them. Like, we don't know William Afton, so we can assume or theorize, but, like, that does not make a character. So I just really like it. Good job. Great job. Round of applause for the Unwithered Truth and everyone who worked on this. You did amazing, and I hope you know that. And this content really brought a lot of joy into my life this year, when not a lot of joy was to be had. And so I wanted to make this to show my appreciation. So here's this. If you like it, that's awesome. I'm glad you like my art that I made. I like the art that you made. But yeah, that's really all. I was gonna talk about the process, but connection terminated. Hi, it's me from the future. I edited down all of the audio that you've been listening to so far. And turns out I didn't have enough, so we can talk about the process. And isn't that just so fun? So, to come up with this concept, I was like semi-conscious being inspired by the Help Wanted 1 and 2 posters. You know how they have everyone's heads coming out of the darkness. I didn't want to do them all like merged together or connected by wires like those two are, but if you've already written, this is just like the Help Wanted 2 or Help Wanted cover art, I think, then you're correct. It is similar to that, isn't it? But it isn't that, so that's fun. But I wanted, of course, Marionette, Charlie, to be the main event with the most of her body shown, and having her little fingers look like she's puppeteering the withers, and then under them, kind of with a separation of, or a degree of separation, I guess, with the withers as a buffer, you have the toys with Foxy and Funtime on the top. I do like the separation of the Foxy animatronics, kind of. I don't know if Unwithered is going to, like, he has Edwin in the games, obviously, with the bracelet that's featured. Also, Freddy and Toy Freddy's hats are huge, but that's how they are. I didn't notice until I was like done and was like, whoa. Yeah, that was kind of massive, isn't it? But I think it works. Who's gonna sue me? I'm not selling this. Anyway, having the Foxy animatronics at the top and kind of separated from the other three. I guess Chica could have been too, but all to say, I don't know what Unwithered is going to do with Edwin's kind of storyline. And if the Mimic is ever going to come. Oh no, I don't think so. Right, because he's only doing the first 6, I think. But, so I guess I'm leaving room for that to happen. For Foxy to be associated with Edwin. Yes, I also wanted to put in the arcade game Easter eggs, like hints to those. So I'm sure you've seen the little glasses, what is it, wizard hat, and then the sewer cover, which I don't know why I thought it had a weave texture. I think it does have those little like crosses on it, which kind of makes the illusion of like lines on them, but I took that a little too seriously in drawing this. But that's neither here nor there. And then you have the fourth, the little steering wheel for, would you technically? I guess we'll see in the game files what they're called. It would be fun to have that be Midnight Motorist though. I hope I'm not spoiling anything, but fun idea. But oh, now we're on to the good part. I'm going to start talking about this art. Highlighting. I've said it before. That's the best part. I really wanted to make the toys look shiny and to have the withereds look really dull and just old. So for the withereds, I used like a really desaturated blue to shade all of them, and so to keep that kind of cohesiveness. And then for the toys, for Toy Bonnie, I think I used Withered Bonnie's blue color to shade. And then for Chica and Freddy, I used, I think, Freddy's cheek color, or maybe Chica's, but something more saturated so they look newer and also more 80s, kind of glam rocky. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk over this part, but the highlights on Withered Bonnie, I think, are my favorite part of this. I was so scared when I was drawing this. I was like, it looks terrible. And then adding the red highlights from, I guess, where his eyes should be, those little pokey things, you know. I was like, no, wait, it's working. It's coming together. It's all going to be okay. Oh my God. I love that. And then I deepen the shadow too to make it even brighter. I'm also really proud of the teeth shadows in Withered Chica's mouth. All of this just came out of my head, so don't look too hard and don't flip the canvas. But adding the glow, wow. Isn't that just so fun? I was so excited for this part because I knew the eyes of everyone were gonna glow, And so just making things glow is so nice. If you ever feel bad and you like drawing, just like draw a candle or something. It's so nice. But okay, I'll let you get back to that video where I was being really sincere. So here's the outro. I hope you enjoyed me just kind of gushing about this art made by people with passion for the subject. And I hope you feel, I hope you felt inspired by Heyday like I did. And I hope to one day make something that also inspires that feeling. This is my, this is my, ninja way now. I want to make something that feels as impactful as Unwithered Truth's FNAF Reboot. And I think that's a good goal. So thanks for helping me continue to care about making art in these times. It's really cool. But yeah. I hope I can edit this into something that is entertaining and also, gets my point across. Alright, well, thank you for watching this video all the way to the end if you did, Unwithered Truth, and everyone who worked on this project. All FNAF tubers. Thanks for making the content you do, and keep doing it. It might not feel super important, but it really is. Yeah, alright. See you in the next one. Bye! Be safe and make good choices, and make art if you want.